An estimated 2 million people died in the Cambodian genocide between 1975 and 1979, many by starvation and disease after dictator Pol Pot emptied Phnom Penh and other cities and herded people into the countryside. Many others were bludgeoned to death after being taken to 150 or more interrogation and torture centers scattered around the country.
I'm at one of the more notorious of these, a former high school in the heart of Phnom Penh that the Khmer Rouge designated Security Prison 21, or S21. Today it's the Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum.
From the outside, this former high school turned museum is scarcely noticeable. Even the ticket counter is half hidden inside the entrance. But once inside, as you walk hallways once brimming with teenagers, the mood is immediately somber. If you forget for a moment the horrors that occurred here, you could almost hear the busy hum of students going up and down the stairs with backpacks and with smiles and laughter and the unconcern teenage life, but that was long ago, before the atrocities gave this place a different definition.
Classrooms were converted to torture chambers where unspeakable crimes against humanity took place, where women were raped, where victims slept chained to the concrete floor with no blankets, no pillows, no mosquito nets. People guilty of nothing were subjected to cruelty until they confessed to crimes they didn't commit or provided names of others who were then rounded up and brought here to be similarly tortured. At any given time, about 1,000 people were crammed into this barbed wire hellscape. In the beginning, those murdered here were dumped in mass graves on the schoolyard until it filled up. Emaciated and barely alive torture victims were routinely bused to an extermination center in a former orchard about 11 miles from the city. There they were greeted by teenage boys with crowbars and bricks assigned to bludgeon them to death. Bullets were in short supply, and their corpses were tossed in mass graves. That place is called Chung Ek, one of dozens of Cambodia's so-called killing fields. I visited Chung Ek several years ago, as you can if you come here. Among other things, you'll see a glass-walled monument to genocide victims stacked with thousands of human skulls. I chose not to go back this time. I debated whether even to come back here. But I decided that even if for a travel video, to ignore these places would be like turning away from the defense of human dignity. The victims of Cambodia's genocide a half-century ago are long out of their misery. Today's victims of ongoing genocides around the world are not. So I show you this not as a quote-unquote tourist attraction, but as a place we owe it to ourselves to remember.
It's hard to reconcile the Cambodia of the 1970s with Phnom Penh today. Despite the tragedy that touched so many lives here, or maybe because of it, there's a level of camaraderie unexpected for a city of 2 million people. You see it everywhere, especially along the Mekong River at nightfall, where people huddle around vendors selling nam bon chok, Khmer noodles.
Just hordes of families, couples out walking along the riverside promenade that I'm on now, which stretches for at least 2 or 3 kilometers, maybe longer, along this waterfront. And it's a delightful place where it's a sort of quintessential summer evening with a nice semi-cool breeze. The heat of the day has dissipated. There are flags waving off the flagpoles along this stretch. And of course it's framed by palm trees, city lights, and the night cruise boats that are starting to gather. When I say riverside, I think it's more accurate to say rivers, because there are 2 rivers here. I happen to be walking at the moment along the edge of the Tonle Sap, which comes down from the northwest from Lake Tonle Sap, not far from Siem Reap, and it empties into the mighty Mekong River just up ahead, maybe another 100 meters, where it winds its way to the east into Vietnam and the Mekong Delta, emptying into the South China Sea. As people gather in the evenings, there's heavy traffic on the Riverside Drive just to the right of me, and of course just the wide expanse of the river on the left. Very much different even than the last time I was here, which was 5+ years ago. And it was just as delightful, but there's more infrastructure now and seemingly more people, because I'm walking in a southerly direction from near my hotel, which is here in the Riverside District, and I'm just now coming up on the park that fronts Cambodia's royal palace, and the scene here, the lights from part of the palace grounds, the pagoda closest to the park. All sorts of food being sold here. I mean, where else do you have a scene like this, where street vendors facing a river are backdropped, as it were, by the country's royal palace? This river, the Mekong, is its own highway. It has been for centuries, beginning 1,000 miles north of here in southern China, and of course flowing through several countries and providing the borders for several, to where it empties into the South China Sea. From where I'm walking along the Mekong at the moment, it's about 90 miles to the Vietnamese border, and about 140 miles or a little less to Ho Chi Minh City. The city of Siem Reap, about 175 miles or so northwest of here, is farther away from Phnom Penh than Ho Chi Minh City. The overwhelming majority of people who are here are local, and the number one activity here is walking, jogging. This is like the local gym for much of Phnom Penh, all done with the ability to socialize at the same time. There are people sitting on the granite ledge here all along this sidewalk. I sat down there just a few minutes ago just to change a battery in my camera, and I think I could have almost still fried an egg on it, even though it's nearly 8 o'clock at night. But otherwise, it's very pleasant out now. Perfect walking weather in Phnom Penh.